Do you remember all the times in your life when you were afraid? Maybe it's when the training wheels came off your bike and you rode it for the first time on two wheels. Maybe it's the first time you actually jumped out of an airplane to go skydiving. Maybe it's the first difficult conversation you had with a client or your first listing appointment that you went on. You see, being afraid or having fear is really not that bad. It's actually a protection mechanism. We developed it many, many, many years ago, back when we were cave people. And it actually protected us from all those noises around us in the woods, protected us from getting eaten or possibly getting killed by animals that were out there. But you see, that protection mechanism, okay, that's evolved over time, and it went from a life or death situation to now stopping us from taking action and doing things that really aren't the same thing. And it all comes down to the fact that we don't want to take action because there's too much uncertainty. There are things that are unknown. That type of uncertainty, that not knowing what could potentially happen, causes us to freeze. We're paralyzed by that fear. And what happens is our brain is a prediction machine. It's constantly trying to predict what could potentially happen to us. But the fact is that it is terrible. It is god awful at predicting what can happen. You see, our imagination runs wild, and our imagination is a hell of a lot worse than what happens in reality. And they say that fear exists in the vague, but if we could actually do something to change that, what would it be? Well, we want to create certainty. We want to change that vagueness to certainty. How do we do that? We shed light on the reality of what could potentially happen. What we want to do is we want to take a situation, we want to actually write about it in what we call our fear journal. This is where we go into the deepest, darkest depths of all of the possibilities that could happen for something that we're afraid of. We want to write down what a potential outcome and then ask ourselves, and then what? And then what? All the way through till we get to the deepest, darkest point of it. You see, things that we're afraid of are things that we probably have never experienced before. It's the first time that we're going through them. We have no idea what to expect. But if we actually play out every scenario in something like this, day in and day out, we are going to be able to overcome that. You see, every day of writing down what we're afraid of and all the potential outcomes are going to actually allow us to come to grips with it. Let me give you an example. Let's say that you're working one job and you're also doing real estate, but you're afraid to do real estate full time because you're not sure what's going to happen. Okay, let's play that out. Let's say you quit your other job, you do real estate full time. Okay, let's say that you don't get any clients, you don't get any business, you don't establish relationships. Okay, then what? Well, you go through your savings. Okay, and then what? And then you won't have any money. Okay, then what? Then you won't be able to pay your bills. Okay, then what? Then you get kicked out of the place that you're either renting or that you're paying the mortgage on. Okay, then what? Then you got to live with friends and family. Okay, then what? Then you're going to have to get a job, most likely a minimum wage job, something like that, anything to sustain yourself. Okay, then what? Then you're going to work on establishing yourself, getting back on your feet. And you come to grips with the fact like, okay, if that's the worst that can happen, it's not a life or death situation. You can handle it. You understand what's going on. You see, by writing in a fear journal, what we're doing is we're actually gaining some control of the outcome. We're actually shedding light on the possibilities, on the unknown. We're enlightening the probabilities that could potentially be out there. This right here, this is my fear journal. I did this for about 21 months straight, about 6 or 7 years ago when I was going through something. And you start to realize that the more you shed light on it, the more that you understand what the potential worst case scenario is, you start to realize it's not that bad. You can handle it. This too shall pass, as they say. We are a hell of a lot stronger than we give ourselves credit for. And like the great philosopher Madonna once said, life is a mystery. And yes, while that may be true, we don't have to be afraid of living it.